Good morning. It's August the 8th. It's Monday. And so that means along the creek. Look, I mowed the grass over the weekend. It hasn't been easy to get at our lawnmower because of the work being done back there in the garage and back yard. And it's been muddy, but I was able to do that. Well, is there a big truck sitting there? One wonders. Well, maybe we'll find out. We'll go up to the dike as usual. Hi, Sei. My eyes. It's a lovely morning temperature-wise. It is supposed to go to 33 today, so it'll be quite warm. Hi, oh my goodness, people popping up all over the place. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but welcome. Do you mean the city or the street? This is Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. This is Retallick Street. We're walking down to Wascana Creek. We're going to walk along Wascana Creek to get started here. This is where I walk every Monday, sort of. It's kind of a tradition on these walks to do Mondays along the creek. Fridays I walk around the Wascana Lake, and the rest of the week it just depends. It was 14 when I got up, Celsius, and now it's probably a couple of degrees warmer. So I'm enjoying the cool air before it gets quite warm later with the 33 for a high, as I said. One of the nice things, even if we have a hot day, it almost always cools off at night here, sort of like the desert. It's not a desert, but it's a dry climate. Duck under the leaves. So what do I have to do today? I've got, we're cleaning my daughter's room, but I've got so much to do, editing and publishing wise. It's not even funny. So I will work on whatever comes to hand today. I've got a couple of editing jobs I have to give priority to. I'm also overdue for a podcast. It should have gone up this weekend, but I'm busy. I was away, so I didn't get it done yesterday like I normally would have. My interview with Dawn Ireland, who's an author. Out taking advantage of the cool air to mow their grass, I see. I'll walk down the middle of the street to avoid that in case she comes back the other way. So there's the dike ahead of us. The creek's just the other side of that. So I was at Last Mountain Lake Saturday night, so Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Sunday morning with some friends, and had a great time. So if you go to my walk on Saturday, you'll see Last Mountain Lake, which is the largest lake in southern Saskatchewan, natural lake. Lake Diefenbaker is bigger, but it's a reservoir. Last Mountain Lake is very long, 93 kilometers long, and very narrow, 3 kilometers wide at its widest. Well, trust me, the creek's over there, but the bushes are starting to grow up enough you can't see it. They trimmed those back a couple of years ago, but they're coming back with a vengeance. Perhaps vengeance is too strong a word. Nice bit of garden down there, as I always point out. Some sunflowers. Those are weeds, those purple flowers. Thistles, those ones. Probably Russian thistle. Oh, there's our first dog crossing the bridge up there. Won't be our last, I'm sure. I'll stretch this one out a bit more than I did last week along the creek. I'll probably walk over the Louvain and get over on that side of things, then come back along the creek path proper. So when we come back, we'll cross this bridge, but today I'm going to stick on this side to start with. There's a cyclist up the ramp. She won't come this way because there's nowhere to go. I guess you could go down there and ride down. There's a couple of places where you could ride down the dike safely. It would be an unusual choice. There's the dog. He's a big one. So many smells. Quite warm in the sun. Airplane coming overhead. The airport's just right down that way. This is generally called the bowl, is what they call it. Big tobogganing spot in the winter. I've walked by here many times. You can see tracks through it even now. People ride their bikes across it too. But in the winter, people toboggan there all the time. Kids. And yes, there's the creek. Reflecting quite nicely this morning. It's very still. Crunch, 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 crunch. On Saturday when I was walking at West Mountain Lake, there was somebody else with me, and two people, so they were keeping each other company, so I just walked at my usual pace, and he thought I had legs about 7 feet long. My natural walking pace, this is my path. My natural walking pace has always been fairly quick, but I think it's gotten quicker with all these walks. I'm up into 400 in some of these videos, so that's a lot of walks. See a little bit more of the creek there. The bush is a little lower. It's going to get hard to see the creek up here at all. Those bushes keep growing until they trim them back again. someone walking for exercise. You can tell by the violent swinging of the arms. It's a bit of, well, this is all floodplain really, but it's also parkland and a playground over there. Over here, looks like it was recently mowed. Cloud in the sky. Not yet. Daytime heating, sun will start popping up, I'm sure, but right now, absolutely sunny. That's the Elfenstone Bridge over there. Also looking more scenic than usual due to the very still water. Over there you can see the yellow of the flowers reflected in the stream. There's a bit of a weir up here, but doesn't seem to be doing anything right now. I don't know if they adjust that one. There's another dog, I presume, at the end of that leash. Oh, there's the weir. See that little bit of construction crossing the creek there. We can cross here. There's something coming, but it's slow. Some sort of construction equipment. Oh, and it's turning that way. Grader. I'll go down this way since I got across here. Down to the Art Gallery of Regina down here in the Neo-Bockwell Center. Little public art out here, I've often pointed out. I never go over here, so let's go over here and see what the name of this thing is. There's a sign that says don't climb on it. Please do not climb on the art, but there should be a sign saying what this is called. Well, it looks like there used to be one, and now there's not. So I still don't know what it's called. That's a seniors activity center over there. I usually avoid walking on the grass because of the dew. Getting your feet wet. It is a little squeaky, I can hear, but not too bad this morning. Also, it's where you scare up mosquitoes. So there's the main entrance of the Neo-Bockwell Centre. And the Art Gallery of Regina is in there, little public gallery. That's that seniors activity centre I was talking about. I don't know what it's called exactly. A street sweeper parked here for some reason. Drat, I have something in my eye that is so annoying. It goes away quickly. Contacts, you know. Things get under the contacts. It can be very uncomfortable, which is what suddenly has become. A moment ago it was fine. Hopefully my crying will wipe it out. Maybe it's cleared out. Bunch of kids over here enjoying the playground. Oh, there's the beaver. Can't miss the beaver. Let's go walk by the beaver. Actually, we'll go up this alley, and oh, now there's somebody coming up the alley. So I'll go up that alley, but this was a centennial art project, apparently. It's deteriorated over time, but it's still there. We'll go up the alley here. A little more shade, for one thing. It's warm enough in the sun, it makes a big difference exercise-wise. Should have worn my sunglasses, maybe I wouldn't have gotten that bit of grit in my eye. I think I'll go up to 14th and walk, maybe zigzag up there and then walk over to the crossing for 13th and Nouvan. Beautiful flowers over there in that corner. This is 15th here. We'll zig up another block to 14th because I don't usually walk along 14th. That'll be a little different. Look down at the end there, you can see Mosaic Stadium, our big football stadium. It seats about 35,000, something like that, 33,000. It's the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders of the Canadian Football League. They got some nice flowers going on in their front. It's about the peak for that sort of thing. 6 weeks, they could very well all be dead from frost. You never know. First frost is usually in September. And usually you'll get like a frost that nips everything, and then it'll be nice again for a while, but the flowers have already started to deteriorate at that point. Sometimes you get a killing frost, and you have beautiful weather for a month after that, which is really annoying. People will cover their flowers and vegetables first time there's a frost warning, and if it's not too much frost, that can protect them. But you get something like -5 or -10, and covering them isn't going to do the trick, and that's when they die. And I do it every year. Here's some sunflowers. I'll walk this way now. Walk down the side that cars don't park on. So this is 14th. I could walk up to 13th and cross up there, but there's a bit of a path through a park down here I like to go through. 13th is busier anyway, so there'd be more traffic on it. Yeah, two people say hi right off the bat and nobody since, so if you're there, say hi. Hopefully I can read it. Has bike paths on it, so not every road does. For some reason, it decided it wanted to wake up at the sky. Another airplane going over. Another one. I think it was right along here. There was a huge puddle back when I walked in the spring. I'm sure it was this corner. You'll get puddles if the storm sewers are clogged with leaves or something, and they can't drain the melting snow. They have to be opened up. Oh, looks like my path up there may be blocked for some reason. There's a truck of some sort parked across the street. I'll find out when I get there, I guess. I should just get more slack yet. Every once in a while it catches on especially on my arm, which is just, kind of sweaty, and then the insulation for the mic cord will catch, and I will suddenly find my gimbal confused. Nothing worse than a confused gimbal. Guess it's a confused Macy's and gimbal. Macy and gimbal. There was sort of a joke there. Not much of one. Yeah, I don't know why that's got a truck parked across it. I presume I could still walk down there. Whatever they're doing. I'm actually going to cross over to the other side. The sidewalk is clear going in front of it, not behind it. Pulling stuff out and putting it in the middle of the road. There's a skateboarder. Not something I've ever done. I wrote a book about it, but I've never really done it. I wrote a book about how to skateboard. I've been on a skateboard once in my life, I think, maybe twice, and only for a few minutes. Because it really didn't seem very safe. Ask me. But I did write a book about it. I also wrote a book about rock climbing. Something else we don't do a lot of in Saskatchewan. Way more skateboarding in Saskatchewan. Maybe I will go to the other side than rock climbing. I can write a book about anything. And I will if you pay me. Need a ghostwriter? I'm available. I'm not cheap, but I'm available. So it's a city truck. I'm not quite sure what they're doing. It's like reflectors. So that's the new van there. That's the more high-speed north-south route for the city. A bit faster. Has more lights on it. Has quite a few lights on it further up, but down at this end there's not very many. And the speed limit is higher, so it should be faster than Albert, which has lights every block pretty much. Every 2 blocks in places. It's a fairly busy street as Regina streets go, but there is a crosswalk up here we can take to go across the other side, and then I'll get back on the creek and walk back. So the halfway point will be sort of just the other side of the blue van here. Carrying a trowel or spade doesn't seem like a safe thing to have in your hand when you're riding a bike. Since the metal part was pointing down toward his spokes, I would be worried about that if I were him. But perhaps he's aware of it and being very careful. Alright, here's the new van. We'll have to wait a minute or two here to cross. Go up that way, takes you to Mosaic Stadium is off to our right, and the fairgrounds. They just had the exhibition, which would have been cool to walk around, but I would have had to pay to get in, and everything else I had to do, the timing, I just never got around to doing it. So, Chidova? They are. The trouble is the climate. The freeze-thaw cycle is extreme here, so even something that was built not too long ago will quickly start to show cracks, and the weeds start to find ways through. So you'll see right ahead of us. In fact, what I'm standing on now is actually brand new sidewalk. But I already see a weed popping up at the fringe of it there. And it depends on the street. I mean, some sidewalks get priority over residential areas where there may not be a lot of as much concern. So they have it all on a schedule of some sort. So this was brand new when I was started walking here last year. Spring of last year is when all these started. This was still being built. So it's still in pretty good shape. It hasn't cracked yet, but it will. Also, our ground heaves a lot here because of the clay. It's in the soil, so when it gets wet, it'll swell up. You see it in your houses too. Our house was completely refurbished in 2013. Drywall replacing the old plaster, and there are cracks in that drywall. And that drywall now, after just 9 years, 8 years since the work was completed. Nice thing is with drywall, once you decide to fix it, you can fix it more easily or patch it more easily than the plaster was. Not that many people work with plaster anymore. So yes, the level of sidewalk maintenance very much depends on where you are in the city and how high a priority it is. One thing they do in some neighborhoods is put asphalt over top of the sidewalks. I've walked on those a few times. I don't know how they decide where they're going to do that and where they're going to do concrete. Okay, we're going up here to the Italian Pavilion, where in winter, although it obviously hasn't happened the last couple of years, but they do something called a Taste of Cathedral, and the various restaurants in the cathedral neighborhood come and have stands, and then there's a silent auction, and it's all to raise money, I think, for the Cathedral Neighborhood Society. That's usually held here, so I've been in here a few times for that. That's about the only reason I've been in here. And there's our dike again. We'll go up there and then start the walk back along the creek to get home. Well, I know when I come out this far, it's a good hour walk. I wanted to stretch it out a bit more today than sometimes. Curling club over there. And the off-leash dog park we'll be able to see, I think, once we're up on top of the dike. And the airport is what I'm pointed at in that direction. Those buildings aren't associated with it, but it's in that direction. Not quite a dead-end street because an alley goes to the left, but basically a dead-end street. Doesn't get a lot of traffic coming down this way. There's no reason to. All right. Here's the dike. Yeah, there's the off-leash dog park over there. You can see some people with their dogs. And it runs all the way over here. So it's a big space. And the curling club over there. Sandra Schmerler. And then the airport's that way, and you can also see the little par 3 golf course that's out here on the other side of the creek. And the creek, of course, is where that line of bushes goes. Okay, it's all downhill from here, or at least it's all back home. It's all about the same hill-wise. There's the creek. So there's still no cloud in the sky, even off in the west. Still looks cloudless as far as you can see. You can see a long way. Looking to the west there. Yeah. Usually I say it's cloudless and then I'll spot one, but this morning I think it literally is cloudless. This part's downhill. Looking back along the creek in that direction. Lots of reeds. Some ducks out there in the middle. Blue van in front of us again. A good view of the creek at this bend. Everything is greener than it normally is in August because we've had quite a bit of rain this year. There's not much in the, well, actually a week from today there's some in the forecast again. So, but farmers right about now are starting to think they'd like a nice long stretch of dry weather to ripen their crops. Harvest has begun in Saskatchewan. Lentils anyway. Wheat still a ways off. Part of the golf course over there, I believe. I don't know if the bulls come down here, I don't think so, but there's some ducks. I think that's the Sirius Rough over here, but golf course, there's a little blue outhouse up there, so that's when it's where the golf course is. Porta potty. So we're inside the dike here along the creek, so if it floods, this part would flood, and has on occasion. But it wouldn't go up probably above the dike or get onto the Louvain over here. So there's a lot of area to spread out in here. This whole network of paths I'm on is called the Devonian Pathway. And I believe it's 40-some kilometers in total. So I thought of walking the whole thing, but that would be a long walk in one day. So you'd have to break it up. And I have talked to some people who do. They have a plan for walking the whole thing over 2 or 3 days. A reasonable amount of hours each day as opposed to 8 hours. I'm sure I could walk 8 hours. I don't want to. Wouldn't walk at this pace if I walked for 8 hours. Yeah, that's the golf course over there. Just a par 3. I think it has sand greens too, which is kind of an oxymoron, but that's what they call them. And now we'll go under the Louvain Bridge here in a second. Watching a little bit of Walking Commuter, Gabe, who walks around Manhattan, who kind of got me started on all this last night, and was not surprised to know that he's had the same problem I have. If there's recorded music playing somewhere and you're close enough to it, you can get copyright hit from the algorithms, and they'll demonetize, which doesn't affect me because I'm not monetized. I don't have enough subscribers. We're about halfway there. Or they can even mute your audio, which is what happened to me a week or two ago on Facebook. Over a minute of my audio was muted because there was some music playing in the background, and got a copyright claim against it. It was muted from like 72 different countries or something like that. Are there any Saskatoon berries growing in parts of Regina? Well, I'm sure there are. They're called Saskatoons, but they have other names other places. They grow all over the West. We call them Saskatoons. Other places they call them other things. Most plants have multiple names. Anyway, this is the underside of the Louvain Bridge. There's a weir up here. I want to make it clear that there's a weir up here. No fear. We'll stay clear, but there is a weir up here. More beer. Oh, God, drat, that's just wishful thinking. It's right up there. That line of white is. It's part of the control system for water levels. I've walked down to it sometimes, but I won't today with all the weeds. There's probably thistles down there, so but you can see it over there. A weir right here. You can see it even better up here. Amazing how many words rhyme with it. Here, weir, beer, clear, deer, fear, here, jeer, mere, near, peer, queer, rear, tear. That's a lot. Some of them aren't exact rhymes because some of them are EAR and some are EER, but still. I wonder what the record is for a word that has the most rhymes. I'm sure somebody's bothered to calculate that. Probably wouldn't want to do like a 2-letter word, but say the 4-letter word with the most rhymes. It's the Pasqua Street Bridge. Excuse me. Oh, I don't know if I can read that. That's a novel. That's so long it scrolled up off through my screen. Well, maybe under the bridge I can take a second and see what it says. Because I'll be in the shade here for a second. Oh, what did you write? Ah, that's Charles throwing in the Wikipedia for Saskatoon. So there you go. Under the bridge. Still have to cross 2 bridges. Footbridge, one down here where this footpath crosses it, going south, and then we walk along the south side until we get to the other footbridge closer to my house. That'll take us over to the north side. The trouble is, Charles, that the comment asking about Saskatoons came in on YouTube, and your comment is on Facebook, so the fellow who, or person, I don't know which, who asked about it won't see your comment, and I don't have time to read it. It's too long. The word most has the most rhymes, really? Interesting. Not if they're just one word, letter. You couldn't have more than 26. So they must be doing multisyllabic rhymes. Well, you could have more than 26 with some of the 2-letter combinations, but I don't think you'd get to 100 and whatever you put there. Over 100. So I should clarify what word has the most, what 1-syllable word has the most 1-syllable rhyme. And there we go. Most would have boast, coast, ghost, host. See, I think here has more than that if you're just doing 1-syllable rhymes. Post, roast, toast, boast. Yeah, no, here has more if you're doing it that way. But if you're including multi-syllable words, then perhaps most has the most. From coast to coast. We should raise a toast. And eat a roast. That we can boast. How we celebrated most. Hey, somebody's actually using their bell on their bicycle. Good boy. The next one by didn't bother. Because with the near, you've still got cheer and sheer, which I didn't mention. The SH one's just not a TH one. And REER, I can't think of anything. Well, a rear. That's usually arrears. Adhere, but that's 2 syllables, see? And I want to limit it to 1 syllable. And there's visual rhymes, which we don't turn into rhymes because we don't pronounce them the same way. Like beer and seer. For some reason, seer is 2 syllables and beer is 1 syllable. One of them should... Oh, I forgot the other version of beer, though. There's another one, B-I-E-R. And of course, weir should be spelled W-I-E-R, but isn't it spelled W-E-I-R? It should be wire, but it isn't. Where's it W-I-E-R? Trying to picture the word. I'm sure I would spell it W-E-I-R, but maybe I would misspell it. It's not a word I use very often in my writing. My sister-in-law's last name is Steen, but it's spelled, if you were just guessing, you'd think it's Stein because it's S-T-E-I-N, but it's pronounced Steen. Our footbridge to the south side of the creek is coming up as we pass the painted turtle, literally. Not the species known as the painted turtle, but an actual painted turtle. Here comes the footbridge. Here come the footbridge. Here come the footbridge. Order in the courtroom. Here comes the footbridge. Not the first time I made that joke and realized just how old that is, since it goes back to the Rowan and Martin's laugh-in from the 60s. Again, no warning that he was coming. This is looking east. And this is looking west. See, very still today. Not perfectly still, but pretty darn close. There's a little ripple in the water, but not much. It's a busy week. This coming weekend is When Words Collide. I'm a guest of honor. I wish it was in Calgary, which is where it's supposed to be, but they pulled the plug on it way back in the winter, which was, I've been to so many events since then. But no, we have to do it virtually, which is unfortunate. think they did say they would pay my way on a future trip to Calgary to make up for it. Not pay my way to there, but pay for my accommodation. We'll see if they remember that. Anyway, so Thursday I'm doing an all-day masterclass, which I should do some more work on, make sure I can fill that long period of time. And then the panels themselves kick in on Friday. There'll be keynote address. I'll be one of the keynote speakers. There's a reading. I get interviewed at one point. And there's a couple of other panels, including one I'm doing to talk about the Shapers of Worlds anthology. I've got a few of my authors have said they can take part in that, so since it's Zoom, that is one good thing about a virtual one. So I'll have somebody from the UK, somebody from Australia, looks like, and quite a few from the States. I don't think any, and somebody from Canada too, so it can be a multinational. And I'll just talk about it overall and get people to talk about their stories a little bit. That'll fill the time. Hope it will be interesting. See how many I have. I think I'm at 7 maybe people that'll take part. I've got 50 minutes, so I could let them read for like 2 minutes, pick a page. 1 minute readings. It'll just be from Shapers of Worlds Volume 2, which is out now, and Shapers of Worlds Volume 3, which will be coming out this fall. I've edited all the stories except mine, which I still have to write, but at least I know what I'm going to write. I didn't go all the way back to Shapers of Worlds Volume 1. Regina Horseshoe Club does its pitching there. And over here, baseball diamonds, softball diamonds, ball diamonds anyway. Creek's just the other side of those bushes there. It's interesting, I happened to be looking back at some of my previous walks and hadn't realized how many some of them had gotten. I did an evening walk back in April from downtown as it was just starting to get dark, and for whatever reason, that one has over 4,000, over 4,500, I think, views. I think it was 4,800 or something like that. I don't know why that particular one caught people's attention, or how it caught people's attention. Similarly, well, I understand why the one I did in St. John's, Newfoundland last September attracted attention, because that's a very interesting place. There's a short one I did in a blizzard that has got quite a few views too. People like bad weather. Walking in the rain tends to get more views. I haven't done that recently, but I will. If there's a gentle rain falling, I don't mind walking around the lake under an umbrella if it's not windy. If it's windy, it's always a problem, and I usually don't try it. It's raining right now, but that's just the sweat dripping off my face. The sun is warm even though the air is still reasonably cool. This is the biggest diamond, or at least the ones with the biggest stands along here. There's a batting cage up here too, and then clubhouse and canteen kind of buildings over there. Comes another dog. There's one behind me. There's one in front of me. I am surrounded by canines. One is West Waterfall Park. I've often gone down by the waterfall, but I won't today. Aha. The dogs took an instant dislike to each other, it sounded like. Don't know if you heard that or not behind me. Bikes this morning. There's the waterfalls over there. I don't know if we get a good look at it through the trees here. But it's an artificial waterfall, obviously. I think the water comes straight out of the creek. Maybe it flows back into the creek. That's like 5 bikes in a row. Regina Avenue up there. If you were going to the airport, you'd drive down that to my right. It'll take you straight there. And doesn't take very long either. No more than 10 minutes from our house, probably less if you hit the lights right. There's the creek again. Our other footbridge coming up, and it'll be a short walk through the streets to home. Oh. We made a lot of splashing there. Some bird taking off. There's another dog. I hear barking behind me as he encounters the one behind me that barked at the other dog. We'll see. Okay, we're going over the footbridge. I see a lot of ducks or geese on the other side. And yet another cyclist. And then another dog. Everybody avoiding the heat later in the day, but coming out earlier, I've noticed in the summer. Seems to be. Busier in the mornings than it is when I do this in the winter. Alright, over the bridge. Okay, come back. I decided I did not want to look in the direction I was going. I don't know how it makes those decisions. One more look at the creek as we look to the west. And we look to the right. The ducks I saw are, they're just now taking off. Or are they geese? I wish I'd been closer. That was kind of cool. They're geese. Didn't get a good shot of them doing that, unfortunately. We'll go down here. wheelchair bicycle ramp. I think a wheelchair would be a hard slog up here, but the bikes use it. Powered wheelchair, pushing a wheelchair. If you're pushing yourself, you'd need strong arms, I would think, to go that far up a ramp. Okay, we're on Cameron Street. This house was just being built when I first started walking, and now it seems to be complete. I think even their landscaping is complete, which was the last thing. Unless they're still working in the backyard. It's a big one on 2 lots, obviously. So we can see in the backyard here. Yeah, I think might still be doing some work in the back. There were a couple of people back there, but it's getting awfully close to being done. Unlike our backyard, which nothing much has happened now for a few days, which is annoying. Dogs everywhere. See, I was talking about sidewalks earlier. Here's one that has been sealed with asphalt. You see that in places, and I don't know how they decide that's what they're going to do. Here's where I fell on the ice on November 11th. It was right here. Want to go back and watch? You can fall with me. Dog barked at me when I walked by it, but that day, no barking today. And here's to you, Street of Robinson. This is Robinson Street. Jesus loves you more than you will know. Ho, ho, ho. It's not actually ho, ho, ho. It's not Santa Claus singing the song. We watched The Graduate. Saw it for the first time just a few months ago. We have been sort of looking at 70s films that we never watched during the 70s. We watched Midnight Express. There's a feel-good film. Oh, let's go this way today. Up to Leopold Crescent. Sitting on the sofa on a Sunday afternoon. Listen to the candidates debate, yeah. Talk about it, shout about it, when you've got to choose. Every way you look at it, you lose. Here's a little free library. Put in a book, take a book. I have all kinds of books, but I never put any in there or take any out. I don't need more books. I could put some of mine in, but that seems... I could saturate all the little free libraries in the area with my books if I did that. They're all Edward Willett books. Big, newish house right there. Really big. With an underground, half underground garage, sunken garage. All right, this is Leopold Crescent. I know the people that live in this house, so I've been in here. It's a nice one too. I haven't been there in a long time. It was more their son and our daughter were in school together. So there was some back and forth there. Various school-related things. This is the corner of Metallic and Angus. Well, that big truck that was parked down there is gone. So it must have just been a temporary staging point. We half expect the house next to us to be torn down at some point. But it was being rented, and those people moved out yesterday, which is an odd time of the month to move. So when I saw that truck, I thought, uh-oh, are they getting ready to demolish the old Horry house? It's the Horrys that lived there for 50 years. And of course, our house has been in the family since, let's see, 82 years. The same family has lived in our house, different generations, but the same family. My wife's family, I married into it. My parents never owned a house. Okay, here we are, Angus Crescent. I will stop here. Thanks for walking with me. Probably back tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this channel.